Daniel did not look at Emma right away after pausing the movie, and the silence stretched just long enough to make her uneasy. His eyes stayed on the dark screen as if the answer he was searching for might appear there. The room felt smaller, the quiet heavier, and Emma waited, unsure of what he wanted to say. When he finally spoke, his voice was low and careful, asking if she still believed in love. The question caught her off guard, striking a place in her heart she had been avoiding. She felt a rush of memories rise up, moments of hope, long talks, and the slow pain of realizing that not every promise lasts. She took a breath and answered honestly, saying she wanted to believe but didn't know if she could anymore. Her words came out calm, but inside, they carried years of disappointment and doubt. Daniel listened closely, his face serious, not judging or rushing her. He nodded, as if her answer confirmed something he had already sensed. He told her he had noticed the change in her, how she spoke less and smiled less, how she seemed present but distant at the same time. Emma felt exposed, not in a bad way, but in a way that made her realize she wasn't as alone as she thought. She asked him why he wanted to know, her voice steady but curious. He turned to her then, his expression gentle, and said he hated seeing her doubt her own worth because of someone else's choices. His words were simple, but they landed deep. Emma felt her chest tighten, her eyes burn, because no one had said that to her before. She had been blaming herself in silence, wondering where she had gone wrong, and hearing her brother say those words lifted a weight she didn't know she was carrying. The room felt warmer, not because of the heater, but because of the honesty between them. The movie no longer mattered. What mattered was this moment of truth, this quiet exchange that brought her pain into the open. Emma realized that Daniel's question wasn't meant to reopen her wounds but to remind her that love, even when broken, did not erase her value. And as she sat there, listening to him speak with care and concern, she felt the first small crack in the wall she had built around her heart, unsure of what would come next but certain that this conversation had already changed something inside her. Daniel took a deep breath, and for a moment, the room felt heavier, as if he had been holding something inside for a long time. Emma watched him, sensing that whatever he was about to say mattered more than the casual evening they had planned. His voice came out quiet but steady, telling her that he was thinking about asking someone to spend her life with him, about taking a leap into love even though the world often made it complicated and risky. Emma's eyes widened, surprise mixing with a flutter of curiosity, because hearing him talk about love so openly felt both strange and comforting. He explained that he kept wondering if love was still worth it, given how easily hearts could be hurt and how uncertain the future always seemed. Emma felt her own chest tighten as she realized that his fear mirrored some of her own, the hesitation to trust, to believe, to risk being vulnerable again. She reached out, touching his hand gently, wanting him to understand that pain didn't have to stop hope, that heartbreak was not the end of the story. She told him softly that love could hurt, yes, but it was also what made life real, and letting someone in was always worth the chance of happiness. Daniel squeezed her hand, relief and gratitude visible in his eyes, and he admitted that he needed to hear her say that, to feel encouraged by someone who knew him and cared about her own experiences. Emma felt tears rise, not from sadness but from the warmth of being understood, from seeing the sincerity in his eyes, from realizing that they shared a bond that went beyond ordinary sibling connection, one of trust, honesty, and quiet support. She understood in that moment that their conversation had shifted something between them, creating a safe space where vulnerability was met with compassion, where fears could be spoken without judgment, and where hope could quietly return. Daniel's words, simple yet heartfelt, reminded her that love was not just a story told in movies or songs, but a choice made in moments like this, in small gestures, in conversations that opened the heart. And as they sat together, hands still touching, the unspoken understanding between them grew stronger, a shared feeling that life could be beautiful again, that hearts could heal, and that even after disappointment, the courage to love could return in ways neither of them expected. The movie continued playing, but neither Emma nor Daniel paid much attention to it. The room felt different now, filled with a quiet warmth and a sense of understanding that hadn't been there before. Emma leaned back, letting the tension in her shoulders ease, feeling lighter than she had in weeks, as if sharing her feelings had released a part of her she had been carrying alone. Daniel sat beside her, closer than usual, his presence steady and comforting, like a reminder that some connections could heal more than words alone. The soft glow from the TV flickered across their faces, casting shadows that seemed to move with their thoughts, and Emma realized that this ordinary evening had become extraordinary without either of them expecting it. When the credits started to roll, Daniel stood and turned to her with a gentle smile, telling her that she would find love again, someone who would see and cherish her the way she deserved. Emma smiled back, feeling a warmth in her chest, and assured him that he too would build something meaningful, that his courage to love would lead to something beautiful. As he switched off the TV, the room seemed quieter, but it was not empty. It was full of hope, trust, and the renewed belief that hearts could heal and grow stronger. Emma reflected on the night, realizing that love was not only about romance or grand gestures, it was also in the quiet moments, in honesty, in understanding, and in the courage to let someone in even after pain. She felt a gentle shift inside her, a softening that allowed her to hope again, knowing that life had a way of bringing unexpected joy through the people who cared deeply, through questions that mattered, and through connections that reminded her heart it was still capable of feeling fully. And in that calm, shared space, with winter outside and warmth inside, Emma understood that some of the most romantic and meaningful moments were simple, quiet, and real, moments that lingered in the heart long after the lights went out, moments that promised new beginnings without rush, pressure, or fear.